Welcome to the Garden Path Podcast. I'm your host, Misty Little. This is episode 2-4. It is the final episode of 2016, and today I'm bringing back my brother, who was a guest on episode 1-4, which was published around January 11th of 2016 on the podcast website. And we kind of talked about similar things that we did last year, but we talked also about highs and lows of the year, things we didn't do well with us in the garden, things that thrived, things we've abandoned over the years that haven't never done well for us, and kind of talked about maybe a little bit of our gardening goals for next year. I talked about my brother's chickens a little bit, and it was just a really good chat with my brother. And subsequently, we also were chatting on the night of the first really big kind of cold front, so it was kind of fun to hear that come through in the middle of the podcast. Also of note, around minute 36, the audio kind of cut out on each of our ends, so we kind of tangented off and had our own conversations by ourselves and didn't know it. So if it sounds weird, I'm talking about one thing and then my brother cuts in and talks about something else. So just a little weird audio thing, just the nature of podcasts. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode, and don't forget to leave a ratings or review on iTunes. It just helps other people find the podcast with iTunes and Apple's algorithms. Also, I'm on Stitcher and on Google Play if you listen over there. You can always also download the podcast on the podcast website, thegardenpathpodcast.com, and you can drop me an email at thegardenpathpodcast@gmail.com. And as always, I'm on Instagram. You can find me at The Garden Path Podcast. And I hope to see you guys again in 2017. I've got a couple great people lined up for kicking off the new year. And we will talk more gardening in 2017. Enjoy the episode, y'all. Hi, what's up, brother?
I am good. How are you?
I am good too. I'm still warm, but you're cold, right?
It is very chilly, 28 degrees here in Fort Worth.
It's already 28. Wow.
Yeah, it came down fast from a nice 71 degree afternoon.
Yeah. I just checked Twitter and it said the storm, the front had made it through, through College Station at 8. And it's 8:40 right now, and I'm about an hour from College Station, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be here by 9. And I stepped outside, and it was pretty warm when I went to move some plants and throw a blanket over something, and I don't want to go back outside after this. So it was summer, and now it'll be winter. So.
Yes.
Now, you guys, it doesn't get that cold up there that often, but, when's the last time it was this cold?
About 2 years ago.
Okay.
It doesn't get this cold very often here. I mean, maybe once a year it'll get down into the teens, but for the most part, it'll get to about 28. I think tonight it's supposed to get down all the way to 20 and kind of stay below freezing until about Tuesday morning. So.
Oh, really? So you're not even getting above freezing until Tuesday?
Yeah, it might get up to 33 Monday afternoon, but it's not going to get above that till Tuesday. I think the high on Tuesday is going to be about 50.
Oh, so wow.
It's a big old roller coaster.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to get up in the mid-30s tomorrow, high 30s maybe, and then the same on, I think low 30s on Monday. But at least it'll be out of the freezing. I mean, and deep cold for us is going to be about 27 or 28, that's pretty. I mean, it's rare for us to get lower than that. So, I don't know. I'm not looking forward to it. I hate cold. I think you do too, though, right?
I don't really care for the winter. If I could have 55 and sunny, I'd be happy, but it is what it is.
Yep. 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 So I guess what'd you do to prepare for the weather? Or have you just like given up on most things?
I haven't given up. The only thing I did today was shut the door on the chicken coop. I hadn't done that in 2 years. I didn't do it any last year because the I let the birds weather themselves, and the wind gusts were pretty bad earlier, about an hour ago. So I shut the door on the chicken coop, just to keep the wind gusts off of them. As far as the garden, I everything that's in the garden is cold hardy, and I don't really have to worry about it.
You weren't trying to like limp your tomatoes along like me?
No, my tomatoes have been done since about September.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm really kind of peeved. I was hoping maybe this year we would have a repeat of last year where we didn't really get a freeze till like January and then I could really get some tomatoes, but they're
Yes,
like just now looking good. So, and now they're gonna die. So, well,
we did have a mild winter last year.
yes. I was hoping for a second one. What can I say? So, anyway, I brought you back on to talk, I guess, about, your garden from last year because you were on, I don't know, almost this time last year. I think I aired your episode in January and we recorded over Christmas, but so I thought we would revisit and talk about gardening over this last year for you and what's was good, what was bad, and what you're kind of getting thinking of already for spring. So I don't know where you want to go with that, if anything comes off the top of your head.
Hmm. Well, I had a better onion harvest this last year than I did in 2015, 2014. The last couple of years were kind of a bad onion harvest. So this last year we actually had a decent harvest. I was surprised on that. Um,
Like they were
the
big and plentiful or
big
everything?
both. I mean, I usually have plentiful. They're just not normally as large as they were this
Yeah.
last year. So whatever amendments I did to my soil, whether it was the chicken manure from from our chickens, or the various compost or some minor grass clippings that gets thrown on top of of there, was whatever it was it helped it out quite a bit. So
Yeah.
as far as other good things, we had a nice bumper crop of tomatoes, so we were able to can those this last I guess early summer. I usually plant quite a bit of some paste tomatoes, um, to can up for the fall and winter for some stews and whatnot. So we had a lot of those. And as far as
Now, y'all make any tomato sauce or did y'all just stick with canning the tomatoes?
we just crush them and can them up that way. We peel the skins off and blanch them, and crush them up and can them, just so that we're not subjected to just one thing. So that we, if we want to make sauce out of it, we can do that, or if we want to make salsa out of it, we can do that, or you know chili, whatever. So that
Yeah.
way it's just tomatoes, and we can mm, we have more of a variety that way.
Yeah. Okay. So what
uh
else was good for you last year?
what else was good? um so I started growing lemon cucumbers several years ago, and they turned out plentiful this last early summer as well. Um,
Yeah, you
the
gave me a couple of them and I think I pickled them.
yeah,
Yeah, they were
we
pretty
had
good.
several to pickle as well. We pickled, I don't know, 3 or 4 jars of them. My other cucumbers didn't fare so well, but the lemon ones, they did pretty good.
All right. What totally sucked?
What totally sucked? Well, I've given up on Irish potatoes. So I don't ever. I think this is the first year in about 5 or 6 years where I just totally skipped them because last year was horrible and I just refused to plant them again. So after several years of trying to grow Irish potatoes, and I don't know if I'll ever go back to trying any of those potatoes, but and our sweet potatoes kind of sucked this year too. We usually have a good harvest of sweet potatoes, and I'm not sure what I did differently or what, but the harvest of those, as far as size and quantity, um, didn't fare so well either.
Hmm. Now, I think I saw you had the purple ones, right?
Yeah, we grow. Yeah, we don't. I don't grow those every year. Um, Usually just grow the orange, your normal type you would buy from the produce section at the store, you know.
Right.
But yeah, every once in a while I'll try and grow the purple variety. Um,
Yeah, I don't know. We didn't have good luck with those one year, but we keep having, I think it's the Beauregard, the red one, that just keeps like re-sprouting in the same bed all the time because I don't get all the tubers or a piece of a plant or something. So
yeah, you leave like 1 inch of that root and it'll hang
yeah,
around for a while.
so so that's what I had this year was volunteer sweet potatoes, and they weren't many, but I think I made some sweet potato hash browns, and I did something else. Oh, sweet potato chili. I'll get a few meals out of it. So
Yeah, I mean, I won't say it was a bad year for our sweet potatoes because we still have a small little tray out in our little in our garage area that we are still pulling from. I think Stephanie made some. That's my wife. For all you listeners that don't know, obviously you probably don't.
yes,
Um, she made some sweet potato chili several days ago, and so we still have a few left. There's not very many compared to our previous years.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. We've never had a good potato harvest. I don't know what to do. Like regular potatoes. So Irish potatoes. What about red potatoes?
Yeah,
Any
same
potato. Okay, okay,
same thing. Yeah,
okay. I was just
if it's
making
not
sure.
sweet, it's yeah. Because I've tried growing the red potatoes as well, and I can't get them to do anything. I've tried various different growing methods, whether it's planting them in a row and mounding up, or planting them in a tall cylindrical object and adding compost to it
Right.
as they're growing, just whatever. Yeah.
Okay, I had to say that I'm happy you don't do good on potatoes because you do good at so many other things that I don't do good at, and I'm always jealous. So it's one thing we can suck at together.
Yes.
But you do good with garlic too, right?
I if I were to have a farm here in the Fort Worth area and were to try and make money off of something off of my land, it would be garlic. Yes.
Whoa,
I
there
don't
you
know
go.
what it is with my thumb, how green it is or what, but it does well with garlic.
What did you
We
plant? Have you planted any? Oh, yeah, you should have planted them already. What did you plant this year?
I planted so last year we had not any fault of mine, but I had a total failure of our garlic due to our chickens, and they somehow managed to weasel their way into where they were planted and dug them up and proceeded to destroy them. But so we had to start fresh this year. I had no seed garlic left, so we started fresh this year with I think 3 or 4 different varieties. We have music. It's a hardneck variety.
Yeah, okay.
Um, and then there's, I want to say Siberian Star, Red Siberian or Siberian Star, something like that.
Hmm.
And then there's another one or two that are are either of Russian or Czech descent that I have no idea how to pronounce, but um, I think those two are soft neck varieties. So the music is
Okay.
a has a larger clove and uh, of that hard neck, and then the other ones are really a smaller clove. So
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying some a different trial this year was elephant garlic in pots. So we'll see if that even works. If it does, maybe I'll scale up next year. Um, but Chris wasn't had no interest in doing garlic because we've never had any success. So I don't know what our problem is.
I wonder if it's too acidic with your area with the pine needles.
I don't know. I've thought of several things. That I've thought too wet, too humid. Um, I don't know. So, I mean, definitely too wet this year.
Yeah.
So, um, I don't know. Let's skip this year as and see what happens with this little test run, and then it may be like your potatoes, no more garlic ever.
Well, I've told you, yeah, and it could be due to the wetness because I think I told you a couple of years ago or sometime that I when I plant my garlic and I plant it right around the autumn equinox,
Hmm.
I water it in for about a week, maybe two, and I just leave it alone, and whatever water it gets, and I might water it once or twice in the springtime, and so that could be your issue.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
I
just
mean, we
too
have the
wet.
sprinklers out there. So that, would give it water. And then obviously, just it rains more here than there. So, um, and this general humidity. So I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Now, have you planted onions yet?
I have shallots in the ground. This is my first season for shallots, but not your traditional onion. I won't plant those for about another 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you do it February, don't you?
I plant it around the 20th of January.
Okay.
So
Okay. Yeah, we had used to do them back in, Chris used to plant them back in sometime in November, maybe Thanksgiving-ish. And I mean, we always had decent luck with them. Like kind of like you though, where they never really get big, except for that one year at the community garden. They got
I remember
big.
those. Yes.
Um, but all the ones here have never gotten big. But we haven't gotten any yet, so we may be planting those in January, more closer to your alignment, and maybe we'll see what happens there. So I don't know.
Good luck.
Yeah. So I guess what else were you successful with last year?
Not peppers. I don't know what it was with my, and I've been having issues with this the last couple of years, but my peppers, I grow all kinds, sweet, hot, whatever, peppers, and they haven't been taken off and growing fruit until like August. And by the time the peppers are ready, it's almost fall and it's almost freezing. Like this, I think I posted a picture on Instagram, I guess last week or whatever, with my basil dying.
Yeah.
And I had 3 or 4 habanero plants left from the summer that I was just trying to get something off of, and there was some fruit on them, but they were kind of small, and they bit the dust when we had our little first frost last week or
Hmm.
whatever, and but that was like I had no habanero peppers this year, so I don't know. That's kind of weird. The other thing we've had good luck with was our basil, and I don't know. I think I just let it do its thing our from previous or the previous season, and it just self-seeded, and I just ripped up the
Okay.
plants, and it came back everywhere in the garden, and I just left it just to have something growing in the garden. And the bees loved it, so I just left it.
Right. Yeah, I'm hoping our basil self-seeds some. I let some of it go to flower, but I mostly chopped a lot of it back in, I don't know, early November and to make pesto. Um and then I was actually hoping it was gonna like re-leaf out in time to get like a second cutting, but most of it didn't. So, and it's all gonna be toast now. So, oh man, which reminds me, I left my Cuban oregano out there. It's gonna be toast. Oh well, good thing that one comes pretty much handy at all the garden centers around here. So, oh well. It was a crazy day. I couldn't do everything. So, okay, so what are you growing right now?
Right now, so I have a few. I planted some cabbage, and I think only like two. There's only two plants growing, and I've never really had the greatest of luck with cabbage, but when I do get some luck out of it, it grows pretty big. So I got cabbage and some chard. Um, I always have some lots of chard. Stephanie likes to eat chard, so
Yeah.
especially in the winter time, she makes some drinks out of it.
Hmm.
And kale and um, I planted some chives somewhere. I think they're up. Not chives. The bunching onions. There you go. The scallions. Those things.
Oh, right, right.
Um, and planted a whole bunch of carrots that I forgot to thin out, and I think it's kind of past their prime to thin. So I'm just letting them do their thing. And
Each carrot for
I
their
was
own.
kind of like your husband. I just planted the whole package of seeds and just left it. So I got this big old forest of carrots in my garden right now.
Yeah, that's kind of how ours looks right now too. So,
I tried to thin them out a couple weeks ago, but every time I try and thin, it would just pull up almost one after another. And I just left it.
yeah.
And then I got my garlic. I planted so I got these boxes that are 6 by 2, 6 foot by 2 foot boxes, and I got two beds of those that are full of garlic. And then so shallots, I got some shallots, some new experiment I got going on this winter. Let's see how those go. Um, some carrots and and I got some broccoli too. I planted some broccoli. I don't like broccoli, but my daughters Zoe and Stephanie they do like broccoli, so I grow it for them. And I think that's
Yeah,
it. Oh,
I have some broccoli. I have not been a very good gardener the last month, so I've been like sporadically in and out of the garden. And last I checked earlier this week, they were still doing okay. And we've I'm trying to remember, last year I grew cauliflower and it did well, but it was like weird to like try to figure out like, okay, when is the optimal time to pick it? And um so that's kind of what I feel like broccoli is going to end up being like, waiting to like, okay, is this looks good or do I wait another day? And the next day I'll be like, oh, I should have gotten it yesterday.
yeah,
And
because by then it just like yeah, it goes wild.
yeah. And
Now
then
with your cauliflower,
mhm.
did you have to cover the head with like the leaves to keep it white, or did it just grow by itself white? Because
it
I've
just
read stories where you have to cover it with the leaves.
it just grew by itself white. I mean, it had kind of like had a little brown, dirty look on it a little bit, but I don't know if that's just because it was, out in the garden or what, but but no, it didn't make it didn't look like it was turning green if I didn't cover it with its
Hmm.
leaves or to make it turn white or whatever. I don't know. No, it was white So I don't know.
Huh.
I've never heard
Okay.
that before. Um, I also have some cabbage too, but um, some of it's doing okay and some of it's not doing okay. So I'll be interested to see. I really like. I mean, I planted a lot of it, so I'll be interested to see like how much really comes up. I don't want a ton because I just want to really just one head to like have some fresh cabbage to saute is good, and then another head for some sauerkraut, and I'm good. I don't really need tons of cabbage, but I don't know.
Yeah, a little goes a long way.
Yes. I mean, I guess if I was, if we needed greens over the winter and I was homesteading, then sure, that'd probably be a great thing. But I don't know. I have a ton of other greens, collards, and I mean, you've seen my Instagram. It's green city around here right now. So,
Yeah,
which is good. So, now do you grow okra?
I grew okra
Oh, a while back, I remember now.
a long time ago, and we had so much of it that I burned out, and so I haven't grown it in several years.
Uh,
So I might try and grow maybe, a couple of plants here or there, maybe this next year, but yeah. And I think I'm the only one in our household that likes okra, so really I can when I
well,
grew it the last time I grew it, I grew a whole bunch of it and it just went to waste. And
pass it on to mom. She'll eat it.
yeah, there you go. Put it in some gumbo.
Yeah, I usually try to grow maybe like 6 plants, and I feel like that's like a good amount to get what I eat because I'm the only one that eats it as well. Um, I planted a little more than that this year, maybe like 8 or 10. Um, but I still, get a couple bags for the freezer. I don't usually cook it up fresh because I forget. I don't have, or I only get like, you know, 2 pods here, a pod there, and so I just cut it up and throw it in the freezer, and then I'll, fry it up later, or use it in the gumbo. Or somebody posted baking them or roasting them, and it looked, oh no, and grilling it, and though all of that looked really good, and I was like, I should try that next time. So maybe next summer I will try some fresh like grilled garlic, grilled okra. Grilled garlic's good too.
Grilled garlic and okra. There you go.
That would be good. So, but I've got so many seeds, so if you need some, just let me know.
Oh, I think I still have like a pint full of them,
Yeah.
a pint jar full.
Oh, that was definitely seeds I
Yeah.
don't need to buy. Yep. Anyway, trying to think of like what was good. Bad for me this year was just about everything in the spring because it all flooded twice or 3 times and whatever.
Yeah.
Um, Summer started once it dried out. I was like, okay, things are kind of looking back up, and the blackberries did really well finally. So that was like, I mean, we got tons of blackberries, and I wish I'd made more jam because I was scared to make it because I was afraid it wasn't going to work, and I was going to jack it up, and sure enough, it worked. And now I'm like sad that I'm trying to pace my last 2 jars. So, do you have
It
blackberries?
goes
It does
fast.
go fast.
I did have a one blackberry plant, vine, whatever you want to call it. Um, and I think it finally went past this life. I think we had it for about 5 or 6 years, and it stopped growing. I need to replant with some more blackberries, and
Weren't they on the side of
we
your
did have a
house?
hmm?
Weren't they on the side of your house?
Yeah, they were on the side of the house with my I call it my tomato garden over there.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I think where I planted it, a crepe myrtle started to grow in that same spot where the blackberry was. So I think the crepe myrtle took over, but
Did you
it
you left the crepe myrtle?
no, I weed eat it.
Oh, okay.
I need to get in there and dig out the root ball of both of them and
Hmm.
start over.
All right.
So no, no blackberries. Only other fruit we have is a peach tree and a planted a I think it's a plum tree last year.
Okay.
It's not big enough for any fruit. Our peach tree grew like two peaches this year. At least worthy of eating. The rest of them were kind of small and the birds got to them or whatever. And but in years past, as far as fruit, I think I had several strawberry plants and we had a good turnout of those, but they kind of died off. And I've missed my opportunity several weeks back to buy another 25 plants. So
What'd you do? You decided not to buy them or what?
I forgot to order them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the variety that grow best here is they're called Chandler, and they're not like those big strawberries you'd buy at the store or the
Yeah.
farmer's market or whatever. It's a kind of a smaller one, and they're not like a an ever-bearing variety. It's like a one-shot deal, and I think they're June bearing or I forget what
Yeah.
they are, but they're called Chandler, and they're best for our area or the northern Texas. And there's a place I forget the name of it, but it's a place on the internet that I last ordered them from. And when I went to go order them this year, I missed my opportunity because they'd already sold out of them. So
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure what variety we have. Chris is the one that ordered those and planted them, but they have really taken off. Like, um, before the flood, we had some berries, and then we were fighting off birds. So I would have a berry that was like half ripe, and I'd be like, okay, tomorrow or the next day, this isn't gonna be ready. Now come out, and the dang bird had already
hmm
done its best, and so he's gonna try to put some kind of cage over it that we can like lift it up or something to keep the birds out of him this year. But they've almost taken over that entire like side bed that's right by that oak tree on the driveway when you come in. Um, they've almost taken over that whole thing except for the very ends, and I kind of want to keep those ends for other things, but at the same time I'm like, well, if I have like a boatload of strawberries, that might be good
you
too.
might be able
So,
to get two or three.
right, there you go. So, I don't know, maybe it'll be good this year. We'll see. And I replanted artichokes because they rotted. We'll see if those stay. And my asparagus, I'm hoping because I started those from seed last year. So this is their first year in the ground. They've grown a lot. And I'm thinking maybe this time next year when they start sending up, because they did send up little mini and thin stalks this year, but they were definitely not ready for harvest. So um, maybe next year I can have some asparagus. I'm going to be excited about that. Do you eat asparagus?
I've occasionally eaten asparagus. I think Stephanie makes it every once in a while and she'll toast it in the oven or broil it or whatever, and throw some olive oil on top, and I'll eat it, but it's not my favorite. It's kind of like Brussels sprouts. I've even tried to grow Brussels sprouts one year, and that was a failure. But um,
Asparagus is good grilled, and yes, Brussels sprouts are a failure because I think we don't get the cold. Um,
that it needs.
yeah,
Yeah.
because we've tried to, and we got these nice big plants and no Brussels sprouts. So,
hmm
and everybody around here said, "Yeah, don't bother."
Yeah. There's several things that I've just done give up on. Like I've tried growing pumpkins. I've quit on pumpkins and potatoes and Brussels sprouts and yeah, there's several other things I could name off that I refuse to grow because Just no luck.
Is it pumpkins because of the boars or?
Well, oh yeah, shoot, I forgot about the Dane boars. The sons of guns. Those Margella squash and zucchini. I didn't I didn't even plant those this year. I just said screw it. I'm not even gonna didn't even try planting them in the fall, thinking or late summer, I guess, thinking maybe well they've done
Burrowed?
buried, whatever the word is,
Yeah.
burrowed into the ground for the summer of the season. I didn't even try that because last year when I tried it, there were still some some flying around laying eggs. So I just said, yeah, screw it. But yeah, the
Yeah.
pumpkins. When I tried growing them a couple of years ago, they just besides the vine borers, they just took up so much space. And I even had some smaller pumpkins, um, or smaller variety that were supposed to be kind of mm, for smaller
Compact.
areas,
Right.
compact. There you go. But they still just took over, and I had planted that watermelons, and the pumpkins just smothered out the watermelons, and like, ah, screw that. And I didn't get nothing out of them, so
Yeah, I think our melons did pretty good, and then they actually like tried to produce, and it was more like kind of survival mode for a lot of stuff. Like, okay, I survived a flood, and then now I'm going to survive the heat of the summer, and I'm doing good. I'm doing okay, but they didn't do their best. So I think I'm going to give melons a chance again next year, and I'd like to try pumpkins, but in the like again, the vines start thriving, and the boars got them, and I don't know. And then there's such a short window because you got to want them to mature before gets maybe a frost in November, which is theoretical, but doesn't usually happen. But still,
right.
so I don't know. Yes, but squash, that's just
Yeah.
so hard.
I tell you what, that's if there's one evil thing in my garden, it's those the damn vine borers.
I think the
I can
front just got here.
oh, I hear some chimes or something.
Yeah, that's the chimes. I mean, I think it has arrived. It is very windy now.
Yeah, it came in with a vengeance several hours ago here.
Oh,
It'll be
bird.
very gusty.
Yes. Yeah, we had gale warnings or something for the coast. So don't take your small crafts out on the water. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Okay, so you're planning for next spring. What are you starting to think about?
I haven't started thinking about nothing. uh, I'm kind of one of those that when it happens, it happens. If I get when I get around to it, I'll do it. And I there's a I used to try and start tomatoes from seed and peppers from seed, and I had very great success with them. But it takes a lot of time, so you would start them in January or right after Christmas, between Christmas and New Year's, and it
And
just takes
baby
a lot of
them?
time. And baby,
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about because it's been 2 years since we've done tomatoes from seeds. So I was thinking about doing that this year, starting, at least maybe half of them, and then still buying the other half. I don't, not sure. Just because I have a ton of tomato seeds, they need to be used so I can save new seed. And
or the other day when we had our frost, we just got done pulling all of our dead pepper plants up, and I'm not even thinking about spring yet. I need to though. Um, I need to do some. I need to add a couple of boxes. Um, the way we planted our peppers this year, and I don't. And maybe you have a better insight. What do you think? Is it better to grow in a raised garden, or is it better to grow traditionally in mounded rows? Because I kind of I grow both ways in our backyard, and some things grow grow better in a mounded row, like our grandmother used to do. Um,
Yeah.
uh, I tried growing peppers that way this year, and they weren't that great. And then I sometimes some other crap I'll throw them in the mounded rows, and they do great. But it's just I don't know. So I'm gonna add some more raised beds back there. I got some room back there to do that, and so I'll probably be doing that here in the next couple of weeks.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know I mean, for down here, for us, it's definitely better to have a raised bed. Like everybody recommends raising your bed just because of the way our soil is down here. Um, I don't know about up there with your clay and I mean, maybe if you amended a whole heck of a lot, but and it's kind of different, regionally. If you just kind of look at, what your soil type is, probably helps determine a little bit more about what's going to do a little better. If you're going to do a row tilled up kind of thing, or if you're going to do a raised bed, I don't know.
So, but yeah, I mean, besides that, I'm gonna besides adding some more raised beds in our backyard, um, I want to rebuild our chicken coop. The one we purchased from the guy across the street is
Oh yeah,
wasn't of great quality, so I want to try and do that before spring as well.
you're going to make it a big old chicken coop or just same size?
It'll be about the same size. It'll be a little different. I'm gonna,
Are you there?
but it's so dang heavy, and it took like four of us around the neighborhood to move it from his yard to my backyard. We had to take down the fence, and it was a big struggle. But so I'm just gonna rebuild it where I want it, and then tear down the other one, and then build a caged in run. Because right now it's just like a fenced in area where I still have like two birds that like to get on the door of the coop, the front entrance, and then so it's about like 2 or 3 feet off the ground, and then from there hop over the fence that I have, the wire fence, into the garden, and it's a pain. So building a more of a caged in run than just kind of a little fenced off area.
Yeah.
Because like
How many chickens do you have now?
we'd have eight. We're down to eight.
Okay.
We had I think we had one die last year. I don't know. I had if you need a chicken put down, I can put down a chicken now. So
Mm,
we had one last year that she got stuck somehow between the house and a piece of wood or something, and I don't know. She was bathing in dirt or whatever, and I couldn't find her for about a day, and finally found her, and she was half alive, and it was just better to put her down. So we got eight now, and they're getting kind of old as far as egg layers go. If I wanted to stew them up, they'd be great, but they're kind of old for egg layers. So
yeah. You were gonna say something right
uh,
before that, though. Do you remember?
uh,
No, because you're
no, I
like,
guess not.
we're talking about rebuilding the chicken coop, and they're like, but like you're something, and then I interrupted you, and I don't remember. I just wanted to see if you remember what your train of thought was.
No, I guess I don't remember.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I mean, besides that, I mean, I need to do some maintenance on our shed or whatever out back where we keep some of our garden equipment there. It wasn't very we I'm not an engineer, so the floodplain back there is uh, kind of
A
sits
floodplain.
higher than the bottom of the shed, so our shed will kind of flood every once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. So I've had to put in some a French drain back there and add a couple of. I've rerouted it several times to find the lowest spot in the backyard. But
Yeah. Yeah, I think this year is our year to redo the compost pile. It's finally we had built the sides up with, wood pieces, like oak and magnolia and stuff from the yard when we were cleaning it up when we moved in, and all that stuff's finally starting to rot. So, um, and it needs. I mean, it's still contained, but it's gonna be. It needs to be fixed. So I think Chris is gonna probably do the same sort of thing. So we know it has a like lifespan of about 3 years, 4 years if we're lucky. So we'll be doing this again in 3 or 4 years.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Don't bury those rotted piece of log into the well, maybe rotted would be better for you, but I tried doing a I think it's Hogel
The
culture.
The Hugo culture, yeah.
There, Fugel culture. There you go.
Uh-huh.
And I tried doing that a couple of years ago, and the wood logs that I planted or buried decided to sprout. So I don't know if it was they weren't freshly cut logs. I found them somewhere, and they decided to come up. So
Oh,
I'm trying to
wow.
remove willow trees from my backyard now.
Oh, well, willow trees kind of are pretty good about doing that, I think.
Yeah, so I I had found them, and I thought, well, that'd be a good kind of project I can do that with, and I didn't really know what kind of wood it was, and so
Maybe next time let it
let it
dry
rot
for
just
like
a
three
little
or
bit
four
longer.
months. Yeah. Yeah, because
So
that's what we did in our vegetable beds around the perimeter. We did like a little modified hugelkultur, and Chris put a lot of wood and stuff like that. There's some pretty big like chunks, and then a lot of branches, and we put leaves and compost in it. And so I think that's what's helping. Some stuff is really liking that. Some stuff's like, okay, this is I don't like this that we're planting in there, but it seems to be doing okay so far. There was some settling at first, like after that first year, so we had to add more compost on top of it. And we may still have to add more compost next year. I don't know. We'll just have to look and see if it settles anymore. But so far it's done okay. So I don't know. I guess we should try to wrap up.
oh wow, we've been going at this for about 47 minutes. Yeah,
I know. I was looking at it. I was like, wow, this is
time flat
wild.
flew by.
So, I don't know. Got
Catch
any
up in a year.
tips or tricks?
Tips or tricks? So I thought it was kind of weird. You had mentioned me in an Instagram post the other day about I don't know where this other person was,
Oh yeah,
and I
right.
thought, and thinking to myself, and I kind of already mentioned this just a minute ago, but I kind of come go at it as it because it comes, and what I grow in the wintertime, if it ain't gonna live, it ain't gonna live, and I'm not gonna cover my garden to protect anything. So what I grow in the winter is gonna live, and whether it's at for our area, if it's getting down to 20 or whatever, I'm not worried about my cabbage dying. So, just grow what you
Right.
can and just learn as you go. Because I'm I'm not no master gardener and I don't have a college degree, and I've been pretty damn good at this for several years now. So just learn as you go and do what you can.
And go with the flow.
Go with the flow.
Yeah, that's kind of what I don't know. That's kind of what I'm trying to do right now. Is that I feel like I'm overwhelmed constantly. So I don't know. The flower garden is usually up to itself. Whatever it does, it does. If something lives, it lives. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If it's taking over, well, maybe I'll trim it back later. But the vegetable garden, I'm a little more picky about, I guess. So we didn't even talk about flowers. I don't know if you got any flowers growing or not.
I had one yellow flower in the front yard, and I don't know what the heck it is, some kind of wildflower. And there's some couple of other things. I'll have to post some of them on at least the leaves on Instagram, see if you can identify them. Um, but there was one yellow one that I don't know what it is, but I would just left it there, just letting it grow. And stinking Grayson picked it, and I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm picking a flower from Mama." Oh, okay. I guess you can pick it for her. So, but no, as far as flowers, I really didn't plant much this year or do anything. I've been letting our oh, um, I planted a Blackfoot daisy
Wow.
several months ago. Maybe it was in the
Uh-huh.
early summer. I planted one. So I picked one. I picked up a plant last year and I planted it in one part of the yard. And the amount of water in this area that it got, it got way too much water, so it died. So I
Yeah.
planted. I picked up another plant at this nursery in West Fort Worth that I found out this past spring, and planted it by the mailbox because I never really watered by our mailbox by the street. And
Hmm.
this son of a gun, it's taken off. It's green right now. It's beautiful. So um,
Good, because yeah, I had that Blackfoot daisy for about half a year, and then it rotted. So,
yeah, yeah, I
and I
learned
love
my
them. They're
lesson
great
on that.
they're great in the hill country. You see them everywhere, and I'm like, oh, they're so pretty, but they don't get the water, and they don't water their stuff like that. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
just more of a neglect thing. Just leave it alone, and that's what I've kind of been turning my our front yard into. If not really, if I if just let it do its thing and find stuff that's more drought tolerant and that can maintain itself. So
yeah. All right. Well, thanks for coming on and chit-chatting with me. And where can people find you on Instagram?
I am on Instagram at Backyard Ramblings, and I am on Twitter at what is my Twitter handle? I think it's
See
C
Whitlock
Whitlock.
83.
There you go. I'm not very active on Twitter. I'm more of a lurker than anything, and I'm trying to get a vlog going on YouTube. We'll see how that goes, but
Have you started vlogging?
not no. My interest. I piqued my interest when we've started going camping these past several months and putting those together, and I upgraded our camera and doing some other stuff, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to do and how I want to go about it. So um, I'm going to try and get that started around the first of the year or something. So
That's
um,
exciting.
I don't know if it'll be daily or weekly, or I don't know if I can do daily. I'll probably just do weekly for now and go from there.
Yeah, I see people who like they'll vlog daily, but they only post it weekly, so they'll splice their week together into one video.
Right, and that might
So,
be the best way to go about it. Just
so
other than
yeah.
that, it's been fun, and I will catch up with you again later.
All right, stay warm, dude.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.